Welcome to another Cool Tool Tuesday. Today, let's talk about lifting cars. So you need to service a car. 9 times out of 10, you're going to need to get it up in the air somehow to do whatever you need to do. So today, we're actually need to do a oil change and a tire rotation on the bus out there. Wife's vehicle needs a little bit of work. So obviously you can use your jack. We're going to talk about some other tools, some things that make it a little bit easier. We're going to talk about the race ramps and some other things that you can use while trying to lift vehicles. Let's get into it. Getting a vehicle lifted for service, really important thing. Obviously in a perfect world, love to have a lift, or you have a shop with a lift. If not, you're gonna be doing like most people and using a jack and jack stands. I'm not gonna go over jack stands or jack too much, it's pretty basic stuff. But obviously you got an array of jack stands. I've got some 6 tons, some 3 tons, and some smaller ones, some lightweight aluminum ones. And obviously you need a good jack. Right, I do have a Low Pro one that I use. It's pretty old now. I think it's a 2.5 ton. Let's take a look. 2.5 ton. It's a Harbor Freight special. You can spend more money on a jack, sure. The Harbor Freight ones have always done me right. I've had them over the years. And then we're going to talk a little bit later about this device that's attached to it called Jack Rod, which helps to eliminate the need for these when you're just lifting the vehicle up briefly. And we'll use that later when we do a tire rotation on the big old bus out there. Now let's start more with the race ramps. So jacks are great, but you have to get underneath the car, jack it up. These are just ramps. Now they're styrofoam-like material. They're like a compressed material, and they're super easy to set up. So I'll go ahead and start setting one up now, so that way we can pull the Escalade in and take a look. So I'll speed this up a little bit. Now what you'll need to do is, once you've kind of got the ramp set down, is when you start to pull the vehicle in, start to gauge where you want the front of the vehicle to be. Now I'm not going to be able to get them set up perfectly in line with the truck until I get the truck start to moving in, and then I'll kind of put the ramps to the tires. I'll show you what that looks like when we get a little bit closer. But this will just make getting the vehicle up for service really quick and easy. All right, let's do that now. Actually, one thing I forgot. These ramps are great. they are extended, but on a vehicle that's really low, like the Honda out there, not extended enough. So that front lip will actually start to hit these ramps. So they do sell extenders. So you can actually use these to get vehicles on trailers and such. But basically what this is this then extends it even further. So it gives that approach angle. And I'll show you from the side here so you can get an idea. So it extends that approach angle quite a bit. And you can see that that's real low. So the Honda can get up on the race ramps, no issues with that extender. Now that I got the vehicle in and the ramp somewhat set up, I'm gonna actually push the ramps to the vehicle versus trying to set them up perfectly and then drive it on. It's just a lot easier to push the ramps to the tire and make sure that they're straight. I just like to look at it, kind of eyeball the wheel up, the wheel straight in the car, just to see where it's going to come, to make sure it's not going to come off the side or anything weird. And I'll even check it from the other side just to see how the wheel's pointed, make sure it's going to go straight up on the ramp. We should be good here. So let's roll it up. And we're going to set the parking brake also. Now that the vehicle's up, it's in service mode, you can really see the advantages. Gives you a lot of access, just as if it were on jack stands. A lot quicker than jacking it up and putting it on jack stands. You know, you can access everything you need to. Like in this case, I'm doing an oil change. So I can slide underneath here, get to the oil drain plug, the oil filter. I can even do some minor front end work that I need to. Now, the thing to pay attention to is obviously the weight is on the wheels. So if you do need the weight off of the wheels, i.e. you're going to be doing anything with the wheels and tires or suspension, then you do have to put on jack stands. The nice thing is, since those are two pieces, you can remove that back piece and just use these like wheel blocks. So that gives you access to be able to put the jack in and jack up on the frame and then put it on jack stands. And then once you jack it up, you can then remove this wheel block and then have the wheel droop down. So you really can get the best of both worlds. Just a quick, easy way to get the vehicle up for service. Now this is a truck, so it has a little bit of better ground clearance than most vehicles, but it's still not enough for me to get underneath there and do my oil change with the way it sits on the suspension. So I do need it up high enough to be able to do this. So this works out perfect. So here you go. I'll just show you guys knocking out my oil change. Right about now is when my phone decided to overheat and freeze. So we will not be watching me change the oil. Let's just assume that everything went okay, which it did. No issues underneath the car. And we'll jump to me topping the oil off. Just like that, we're done. So let's go ahead and get this thing off the ramps. And putting the ramps up is just as easy as taking them down. So now I'm at a point where I need to lift the vehicle in a different way than on ramps. And again, ramps aren't new. Ramps have been around for years. There's so many different types. There's hard plastic, there's metal ones. Hell, you can make it out of 2x6s if you want, just gradually stepped up. The race ramps are nice because they're lightweight, they're easy to store, they have a good approach angle, you can adjust the approach angle. You can use them for trailers, you can use them for anything, and they're just easy to transport around. They're not cheap, they're fairly expensive, but they are worth it. But now needing to get the vehicle up on jack stands or on the frame so that I can get the wheels and tires off to do a rotation, I'm going to need a jack and jack stands since I don't have a lift. So I do have multiple jack stands I can use, but I'm also going to use another product made by AGM called a jack rod. And what this is going to do is act as a jack stand in lieu of using a second jack stand. So I'll be able to put this between the jack base and the bottom of the jack once I have it up, and I'll show you once I get it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rear on a jack stand, and then when I do the front, I'll get underneath it. We'll put this jack rod in so you can see how this works. This is really nice because if you don't want to use a jack stand, you just need to do something quick and you want to get underneath the vehicle, you can use this in lieu of a jack stand and be safe. Because I've done it many a times, getting underneath the vehicle and working on it with just the jack there, it's unsafe. You never know if that jack's going to fail, the hydraulics go out and that vehicle comes down. And you got to take care of your life. I mean, you don't want to lose your life just because you're trying to be cheap or be quick and have a vehicle fall on you. So let's go ahead and get that rear up, and then from there we'll show you what the jack rod looks like. So as you saw, nothing wrong with that process. Jack it up, pay attention, make sure you're on a good jack point. Luckily this is a full frame vehicle, so pretty much can use any point on the frame. And then find a good spot to put the jack stand. So good spot to put that on the jack point. Again, full frame vehicle, so I can put it on the frame almost anywhere. So now what I'm going to do is jack up the front side and then show you the difference when you use the jack rod instead of needing to set up the jack stand. All right, we got the vehicle up. Tires are up off the ground on the side that I'm going to rotate. I just rotate front to back. I don't do a cross rotation on these. So I've got it up. It's just on the jack right now on the front. So let's get underneath and take a look and see how this jack rod works. Because again, right now I've got one jack stand for the rear and then currently the jack on the front. So let's take a look. Set you down. All right, let me get you underneath here a little better. So you can see right now, just got the jack. Now, not safe to get underneath the vehicle. Even though I've got one jack stand in the rear, no jack stand in the front, taking that front tire off, this jack fails. It's gonna fall on the suspension, could fall on my leg, could fall on me if I'm underneath it. So you really need some sort of support there. So what the jack rod does, and this is just a nice little holder they have here. So let me get it out of the holder. So it's got these two posts here. When I click this, you'll see it shoot out. So it's spring loaded, and what it's going to do is got different detent points. So then I'll be able to set it down once I put it in. Now they sell one with 2 detents. They sell one with a single detent. They sell one that's a manual. It's not a spring-loaded detent. So it really just depends on how much money you want to spend. But let's take a look and I'll show you how this goes in. Give it a little extra light too. See if that helps. So I'm going to come in from the other side so you get an idea. So basically what you do is you stick the bottom in here, and then the top's going to go here. And you want to make sure that it lands just like that. Now it's not in a detent yet. So what I need to do is I either need to go up a little more or I need to go down. So let's go up, and boom, you just heard it click, right? So now I can actually set the jack down. So the jack is not even on. So I have no tension under the jack. That jack rod is holding it. Now I'm going to put just one pump on the jack, just so it has some extra support. But the jack rod's holding it. So now I've got a jack stand as part of my jack. So that's a pretty cool setup. It's nice and quick. Didn't have to fiddle with the jack stand. The other nice thing is, in some scenarios where your jack point is, you don't have a good spot to put a jack stand. So you're kind of get in a quandary of, well, I'm jacking it up on the point that I need to put the jack stand on. And then this eliminates that for you, because you can use the jack is the jack stand with that added support. So let's go ahead and get this tire rotation done. Alright, we're done with the tire rotation on this side. Let's go ahead and get the jack rod out, get the jack down. And obviously, taking it out is just as simple as putting it in. So let's get underneath again. Take a quick look as we take it out. So what we got to do first is jack it up. So jack it up just a little bit, just so we can get the tension off the jack rod. And then we'll come in, squeeze those two detents, pull up, close it in, and then there we go. And now we can put the front down. Put it down slowly. There we go. Simple as that. Got everything back down on the ground. Got the jack rod out, jack stand. Just got to torque the wheels up. And you're going to notice this will look a little familiar. You'll watch one of my other Cool Tools videos, the Coke and socket. So torque these down to 140 foot-pounds. Just check your manufacturer spec. So let's get it done. You just finished the tire rotation. Think you're done? Nope, you're definitely not. Modern cars, TPMS sensors, you have to do a relearn procedure so the car knows which corner each tire is on, which sensor. And to do that on this vehicle, you need a tool like this. So I'll link this on Amazon. Relatively cheap tool, just takes a 9-volt battery. So we'll go ahead and do it right now. Real quick process too. So take the tool. And what this tool does is it basically pings the TPMS sensor to be able to tell the vehicle, but you need to put the vehicle in a learn process. So this vehicle is relatively easy. So we'll jump in, we'll crank the car up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the information screen for the TPMS. I'll go over. Almost there. Here we are. And we're going to press and hold the select button. And as we do, it's going to go into a TPMS relearn. You hear 2 honks, and you can see there, tire learning active. So now we're going to jump out. And on this certain vehicle, you start on the driver's side front. So I'll go ahead and take our tool, What you want to do is you want to find where the valve stem's at, kind of poke around, get it close to it, and then press and hold the button. We're waiting for a honk. Whoop, we heard it. So that means that sensor's been pinged. So now on this one, we're going to go to the passenger side front. Same thing, find our valve stem, put the tool, wait for a honk. We're good. Move to the next one, which is going to be the passenger side rear. Same thing, press and hold, wait for a honk. We're good. One last one. It's going to be our driver's side rear. Now when we do this one, we're going to get a double honk, which is going to mean that this relearn process is done. So let's go ahead and wait for a honk. There it is. Double honk completed. And if we go back, the tire learn is no longer active. Now the vehicle knows which sensor is on which corner of the vehicle. So super easy. Don't pay anybody to do this. It takes 5 minutes, and all it does is take this tool. Again, I'll link it, so that way you know where to get it. In the end, do you need fancy ramps, the jack rod to do the things that you just saw me do? You know, your oil change to service a vehicle, you know, to get a vehicle up so you can rotate the tires. You don't. Jack and jack stands will do the job. Hell, you could even use, you know, wood cribs, build it with 2x4s. I've seen people do. It's not about that you need these tools. These are the tools that just make the job easier. The race ramps, lightweight, hold 1,500 pounds per ramp. This vehicle probably close to exceeding that, but you can see it handled it fine. You can remove the back section of the ramp when you need to. Great for exactly what their real intention is for when you're going out racing. Can't tote around really, really heavy ramps. You want something that's lightweight, you can transport easily, take it, do it out the track, do whatever you need to do. The jack rod, great tool, really safety, convenience. Just one less jack stand I had to use. If I didn't need both sides up and I'm just jacking one side up quickly and I don't feel like getting the jack stand out, perfect tool for that. Also works good if your jack point is the same place you're placing the jack, along with where you need to place the jack stand. It's all in one. And they do sell some jacks that are have jack stands that can slide into the jack and out of the jack, but honestly that's pretty cumbersome. You might as well just get a jack stand. This jack rod is not that expensive. I think it's a relatively cool item to have. Some other things that you might have seen in the video that I didn't really talk about, but it's pretty useful whenever you're using jacks, is a jack pad. So this one here is one I use. This is from Harbor Freight. Actually, it's from Amazon, but it fits on the Harbor Freight jack. Just makes it a little bit easier whenever you're jacking something up. It's not metal to metal, especially if you're doing pinch rails. One thing you can do is when you are jacking up on the pinch weld, you can actually buy pinch weld jack pads. So as you'll see here, that's exactly what this is. So same situation, this goes in the jack pad on the jack, and then it'll fit into your pinch weld. It actually has magnets on it too, so if you wanted to, you could stick it on the pinch weld, and that way you know where you need to put the jack pad. These are really inexpensive and will save your pinch welds. Anybody who's worked on cars and you've gotten underneath a car where someone's worked on it and you've seen those pinch welds just folded over, you know that that's just horrible to see. Causes rust, can cause issues. Old F-bodies I've had, you'll see where the fender on the driver's side, kind of in this area here, is popped out. The reason it's popped out is because someone jacked it up on the pinch weld, and that's where the fender mounts. So just take care of your vehicles. They're not cheap. You spend a lot of money on vehicles. Heck, for some people, it's the biggest cost you'll ever have. Folks that own a home, it's probably your second biggest cost you'll ever have, outside of children. But yeah, so, you know, thanks you guys for spending time with me. Really just wanted to show you some cool tools that I use to lift vehicles, to do service. You saw the oil change and the tire rotation with two different types of tools that I use to get the vehicle up. So again, just remember, good tools are worth it because they just make the job easier. And I appreciate you guys spending time with me. So if you want to follow for more automotive content, please like, subscribe, comment. You can follow me on any of the socials too. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Jack of All Gears. So appreciate you taking the time.